All right, let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine I just hand you $1,000 for free, no strings attached. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, now imagine I take that same $1,000 right back. How does that feel? A whole lot worse, right? The math is exactly the same. You're right back where you started, but emotionally, it's not even in the same ballpark.
So what's going on here? Why does the sting of a loss feel so much sharper, so much more intense than the joy of an equal gain? This isn't some personal weakness, by the way. It's a fundamental feature baked into the human brain, and believe me, it has massive, massive implications for how you handle your money.
So how much worse does it feel? Well, according to Nobel Prize-winning research, the answer is about 2 times worse. Yep. The psychological pain of losing something is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining that exact same thing. Just think about that. You'd have to gain $2,000 just to emotionally break even from the pain of losing $1,000.
Now, this isn't just some fun party trivia. It's a core principle of behavioral economics, and it has a name: loss aversion. And really getting a handle on this is the absolute first step to stopping your own brain from making some seriously costly financial mistakes.
Let's look at how the researchers actually proved this. In scenario A over on the left, people got a choice. Take a guaranteed win, or you can roll the dice for a chance at a bigger one. The vast majority of people, we're talking 84%, took the sure thing. They played it safe. They became completely risk-averse. But now look at scenario B. They flipped the script. Now the choice was between a guaranteed loss or a gamble to maybe lose nothing. And suddenly, everything changes. Almost 70% of people chose to gamble. Faced with a sure loss, they instantly became risk-takers, all to avoid that gut punch feeling of defeat. And that right there, my friends, is the textbook definition of loss aversion. It's this powerful and frankly irrational force that makes us behave in completely opposite ways, all depending on whether something is framed as a win or a loss. But here's the thing I really want you to get. Your brain isn't broken. This isn't a bug. It's a feature. You know, our ancient ancestors who were more terrified of losing their small food supply than they were excited about finding a new one, well, they were the ones who survived. The problem is that this ancient survival-based wiring it's an absolute catastrophe when it comes to the world of modern investing.
So, let's get specific. How exactly does this ancient wiring sabotage your portfolio? Well, there are 4 really common and destructive patterns that loss aversion causes. And chances are they're costing you money right now without you even realizing it.
Let's break these down. First, we hold on to our losing stocks for way, way too long. We keep hoping they'll come back because selling would mean we have to admit the loss is real, and that hurts. Second, we panic sell during a market crash. That 2x pain becomes totally overwhelming, and we just want it to stop, so we sell at the absolute worst possible time. Third, we do the complete opposite with our winners. We sell them way too early because we're terrified of losing the gains we've already made. And finally, there's portfolio paralysis, where we get so scared of making a bad move that we just freeze and do nothing at all. And if you want to see the real-world cost of all this, just look at this chart. It's pretty staggering. A famous, long-running study by a company called Dalbar consistently shows that the average investor gets way worse returns than the market itself. That huge gap you see, nearly 5% a year, that's not an intelligence gap. It's an emotion gap. It is the price of panic paid for by emotional decisions driven almost entirely by loss aversion. To really see the devastating effect this has over the long haul, let's run a little comparison. Let's imagine 2 different portfolios, each starting with the exact same amount of money. Okay, so portfolio A belongs to our loss aversion victim. You can see the pattern. They hold on to losers, they sell their winners too early, and they keep way too much money in cash because they're afraid. But portfolio B, this person uses a system to manage those exact same emotions. And the result after just 10 years? A staggering $180,000 difference. The investor in portfolio A isn't less smart, they're just human, and their unchecked instincts are literally costing them their retirement. Okay, so here's the good news. You can't just wish this instinct away. It's hardwired into your brain. But, and this is the whole point, you can build systems. You can create simple rules that override your emotional brain at the most critical moments. You can actually outsmart yourself. Here are 4 simple but powerful rules you can use to build your own system.
First, the 5% rule. You decide beforehand to automatically sell any investment that drops by a set amount, like 5 or 10%. The decision is mechanical, emotion is out of the picture. Second, create a winner's jail. Any stock that has a big run-up, you commit to not selling it for, say, at least a year. This forces you to let your winners keep winning. Third, a little mental trick. Reframe your losses. It's not a failure, it's tuition. It's the price you paid for a valuable market lesson. And fourth, and this is the big one, pre-commit. Write your rules down when you're calm and rational. It's like making a contract with your future emotional self.
And here's another really powerful system, portfolio asymmetry. The idea is brilliant. You put the vast majority of your money, let's say 80%, into your safe zone, boring, stable index funds that you just don't touch. Then, with the other 20%, you create a play zone. This is where you can pick stocks, try to time things, and make all those classic human mistakes. What you're doing is quarantining your own worst instincts, containing the potential damage to a small, manageable part of your wealth.
Ultimately, everything we've talked about comes down to this single idea. The greatest investors out there aren't emotionless robots. They just understand that their brains were built for a totally different world. They feel fear, they feel greed, just like all of us. The only difference is, they've built systems to make sure their rational mind is always the one making the final call. So that leaves just one final question, and this one's for you. When the next market storm hits, and it will hit, and that 2x pain starts screaming at you to sell everything and just make it stop, what are you going to do? Your emotional brain already has its answer picked out. The real question is, what are the rules your rational brain has written down today?